Artist Johannes Vermeer's quiet, contemplative scenes of domestic life have made him one of the most important and popular figures in the history of art. Yet for many years, scholars have focused on him as an isolated genius with very little examination of his life in the context of native city of Delft in the Netherlands. Now, a new exhibition at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, Vermeer and the Delft School, places the painter's works alongside those of his contemporaries. 15 of Vermeer's 34 known paintings are involved in this exhibition, including such works as The Art of Painting and The Procuress. It also features 70 paintings by other artists of the Delft School. I am pleased to have a conversation in this program with Philippe de Montebello. He is the director of the Metropolitan Museum. Also here, the curator of this exhibition, Walter Liedtke. He is the curator of the Metropolitan Museum's Department of European Painting. Why Vermeer now?
Why Vermeer now? Vermeer anytime. Vermeer is universal, Vermeer is timeless, and in a sense now, precisely because there was such a wonderful exhibition a few years ago in 1996 at the National Gallery in London, and then it went on to Holland, that was a retrospective looking exclusively at Vermeer, only the paintings of Vermeer. And we had wanted for a long time to look at Vermeer in the context of the city of Delft and all of the artists who surrounded him, because it is interesting to know who did he look at, who looked at him, what various influences could have been on him. Also, one speaks always of the surpassing quality of Vermeer. If you have surpassing qualities, what is it that you are surpassing? So it is fascinating. We thought it would be fascinating to see Vermeer in the company of such painters as De Hoogh, who are marvelous painters, also of genre subjects, very similar to his, and to see them side by side, understand the merits of De Hoogh, but see how Vermeer is just the great star, the insuperably great artist.
Okay, so then the question is, does it, when you understand more about Delft, this place that spawned him, does it enhance his reputation, or does it, as one critic said, flatten it?
Oh, it certainly doesn't flatten it, unless that critic suddenly decided that Emmanuel de Witte's church interiors were superior to Vermeer. So I don't see how it can flatten it. On the contrary, going through the exhibition and walking through rooms in which Vermeers hang, there is that emanating light from that corner of the room where the picture is. I mean, you cannot miss him, and if anything, it confirms, I think, the greatness of Vermeer.
Well, we don't know much about him in terms of biography.
No, we know no more, really, in terms of biography than we did before. We know and understand a little bit more about the man, seeing all of the things that he might have been surrounded with and looked at, seeing the works of artists with whom he probably had daily contact.
Do you see, when you look at these paintings, any more insight for you of his talent and skill?
Well, I revel in the possibility and the opportunity to look at the pictures. And in a sense, yes, in terms of insight, in certain instances where there are real similarities and therefore marked differences. But to be able to actually look at both De Hoogh and Vermeer at the same time, you suddenly understand the magnitude of the differences.
There is one painting here you're not sure of the authenticity.
Well, this is an exhibition of enormous scholarly impact and import. And whenever one mounts an exhibition such as this, you want to utilize it to its maximum effect. And so there is a picture that is privately owned of a portrait of a woman or a girl. And it's a picture that no scholar has really been able to place. It's slightly awkward, it's very Vermeer-like, and there were always questions about it. So since connoisseurship is based on comparisons, looking at a critical mass of objects of like character, it was an ideal opportunity to put it in this exhibition to see if once hung with Vermeer's and other painters of the School of Delft, we would learn something more about the picture. I will say the enigma is still enigmatic.
Yeah. Here's the biggest question about Vermeer for most people, or for me. Why? What is it about him? Is it the mystery? Is it that makes him so attractive?
It's the most pertinent question you can ask. It is the most difficult one to answer. And the word mystery, I think, that you use is a real one, because there comes a point when some painters, such as Vermeer, such as Van Eyck, Piero della Francesca, Velázquez, attain a level of competence and of a poetic imagination so high, so beyond the ordinary capability of us ordinary mortals, that we are, in a sense, awed, dazed, and it's that sense of wonder of how is it possible? How can any human being convey a sense of realism at such a high degree of beauty and understanding of nature? I'm sure scientists I know of Einstein in the same way. How could he come up with these ideas? And so I think the mystery remains unclarified, but it is that mystery which is at the core of what is the meaning of art.
What do you like best about this collection? Just as a lover of art.
Well, I love the variety in this show.
Pick one painting.
Oh, pick one painting and make 163 enemies?
Yes. And don't pick the one that cost you the most energy, the most effort to get here as part of this exhibit.
I love the Berlin picture.
Yeah.
Love the National Gallery's painting of the woman in blue with the white hat and the scales. I love our own painting of the woman with the water jug.
Yeah.
But it's tough, you know.
What's interesting about this, for me, is that you get a chance to see Vermeers that were not at the National Gallery retrospective in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
A, because the art of painting was being worked on. Or
there are other commitments museums make.
Some of your paintings could not travel by nature of the bequest.
That's correct.
The Frick had 3 that were not allowed to be traveled as well. You've done an interesting thing about those 3 at the Frick. You have a photograph.
Yes. We have color photographs of the end of the exhibition saying, if you want to see 3 other wonderful Vermeers, go to the Frick. And you know, the point is not to say, we at the Met have this show and glorifying the exclusivity of it. We are in the public service. We are here to celebrate Vermeer. There happen to be 3 great ones 10 blocks from here. It would be so foolishly narrow and small of us and anti-educational not to bring attention to them.
It's like when you go to the Philadelphia Museum to see Cézanne and not go over to the Barnes and see what they have.
Absolutely. Now, whether there is a sign in the Philadelphia Museum saying, if you have enjoyed the Cézannes here, why don't you go to Marion and look at another 50? I don't know.
There was not. Thank you, Philippe. Philippe de Montebello at the Met, talking about Vermeer. When we come back, we'll meet the curator and take a walk through these paintings, inevitably paintings that attract a huge audience interested in Vermeer. Stay with us.